Thank you for joining me today. We're going to do a full body yoga flow. So go ahead and get your mat, get comfortable, and go ahead and have a seat up on your knees. We're going to take a few calming breaths, connect with our breath, and then we're going to get started with some vinyasas to warm up all our muscles. So go ahead and come to a seat on your knees. You can come onto your heels with your feet untucked, or you can go up onto your toes. This can be pretty intense, but this can also be a really good stretch for your feet. So go ahead and get comfortable, sit on your heels, let your head grow tall, lengthen your crown to the sky, roll your shoulders back, knitting your ribs in, finding your neutral spine. Deep inhale in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. A few more at your own pace. Last one, in through your nose and then out through your nose. Go ahead and open your eyes and come to a tabletop position. Wrists are below your shoulders, knees are directly below your hips, and we're going to take a few cat-cows. So on the inhale, open your collarbone up to the sky, cow, and exhale, cat. Push the floor away from you, really arching your back, articulating your spine, and then inhale, moving from your tailbone, flexing your spine the other way. Do a few more of these on your own breath, and if you want to bring some movement into it, maybe from some side to sides or some waves, do what feels good in your body. Last cat. And come to a neutral tabletop position. So from here, we're going to step our feet up to our hands, and we're going to come up to a mountain pose. So rooting down for your feet. Go ahead and try and scrub your feet away from each other. Inhaling your arms up. Exhaling. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, fingers to your shins, mat or blocks. Exhale, fold. Jump or step back to a plank. Hold your plank here for a moment. And then we're going to go down to a chaturanga. So you can go down to your knees if you need to, or just lower down. Chaturanga, hold. And then up dog. Exhale. Roll your shoulders back. Push through your hands. Lift your legs strong. Engage your core. And then you can either go from your knees or just push back into a downward facing dog. Find some stillness here, just for a moment. And then we're going to bring some movement in, so you can go ahead and pedal out your feet. Or however you want to move in your downward dog, whatever feels good. Just make sure that you are strong in your arms and your core is still engaged. Then we're going to step, hop, or jump to the top of our mat. Halfway lift, forward fold, inhale, arms up, mountain. And do that again, inhale, arms up, exhale, fold forward, inhale, halfway lift, exhale, step back or jump to plank. If you jump back, make sure you put a bend in your elbows, hold your plank, And we're going to push ourselves forward a bit, bending your elbows, making sure that they're scraping by your ribs. Upward dog. And downward dog. You're gonna do 2 more like that. So go ahead and bend your knees, step, hop, jump to the top of your mat. Halfway lift, exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up, mountain. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Put your hands down, step or hop back to plank. Hold your plank for 3, 2, 1. Lower down, chaturanga. Up dog. And down dog. We have 1 more through, so come to the top of your mat. In your way, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. Plant your hands down. Step, hop, jump back to plank. Hold your plank for 3, 2, 1. Coming down to chaturanga. Hold it. 3, 2, 1. You can lower down to your belly and do cobra, or come into up dog. Push back, down dog. Oh, breathe in your down dog here for a moment. Make sure you are pushing through your hands so you are engaging your lats there. On an inhale, we're going to lift our left leg to the sky, bring it into your chest, hold it in your chest, and plant your foot down in between your hands, your foot down. Spiral that back foot down to a 45-degree angle. We're going to come up to a warrior 1. Hold that warrior 1 for a few seconds. Hips are pointed forward. Good. Now we're going to plant our hands down, spiral that back foot up, plant the knee, bring your hand to the inside of your foot, and you can go ahead and walk your foot over to the side of your mat. You can keep your toes tucked or you can untuck them. And we're in this lizard pose. So you can either stay here, making sure that you're pushing your knee against your shoulder against your knee, so it's not splaying out, getting into those hips. So you can move around a little bit if you need to, find those sticky spots and breathe into it. And if this doesn't feel intense enough, you want to come down onto your elbows or onto a block, or up onto a block. Feel free to do that. Come back up. Bring your other foot to the front of your mat. So your feet are at a 45-degree angle here, and you're just going to squat your legs down into Hamasana, yogi squat. We'll be here for just a moment. Go ahead and stand up out of that, bringing your feet together, and we're going to sit back into a chair. So toes are touching with a little separation between your heels, and you're just going to sit your feet back, or your bum back like you're in a chair. Core is engaged, arms are up or at your heart center. Breathing. And forward fold. From our forward fold, we're going to step back into that down dog. You're going to inhale your left leg to the sky. Bring it into your chest, hold it into your chest. Plant it between your hands, back foot spirals down to a 45-degree angle. Hips are pointed forward, legs are strong, standing in your warrior 1. From your warrior 1, we're going to bring our hands down. Go ahead and spiral that toes. Bring your hand to the inside of your foot into that lizard pose. So my knee and my shoulder are connected. Find some wiggle room if you need to wiggle a little bit, or you can even intensify it. Get a little deeper into those hips. Breathing, core is engaged. Lift up out of that lizard, bring that foot to a 45-degree angle, step your back foot into a 45-degree, and sit down back into that Malasana. I like to use my elbows to push against my knees to help open my hips up a little bit more. My spine is nice and long. My pelvis is neutral. Core is engaged. You can lift your toes. If you're up here on your heels, or off of your heels on your toes, that's fine too. Or you could even be up here. And then stand up. Bring your toes to touch, little space between your heels. We're gonna sit back down in that chair. So, sit your bum down into your chair. You could be up here on a bar stool, or you could be down here in a chair. Legs are strong, core is engaged. Ribs are knit in. And forward fold. So from here, we're going to step back into a plank. I'm going to have you drop down onto your knees, tuck your toes, and you're going to bend your elbows. So either your elbows are pointed forward, like in a chaturanga. You're going to bend your knees, your elbows like in a chaturanga, and come down to a modified cobra and slither up into a cobra. Core is engaged. And from here, you can either go up on knees, or you can go onto toes and push up into a plank, and then back into a down dog. Inhale, lift your right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee, open your hip to the side for a moment. Get a nice hip opening stretch there. Continue to press through your hands. Close your hip, keep your knee bent. Bring your knee into your chest. Come into a plank. Foot between your hands. You can use your hands to bring it forward if you need to. And then from here, spiral the back foot parallel to the back of your mat and open up into a warrior one. Holding this warrior one pose. Palms down or palms up if you need shoulder opener. So hips are pointed towards me now. Try to bring that front knee over towards your pinky toes so you're not collapsing into your leg. From here, we're going to come forward, resting our elbow onto our knee, opening that top shoulder. You can rest your elbow on your knee, or you can get some more core work here, or you can lower your hand down, opening your hips. Breathing. Come back into that warrior two. Then we're going to flip our forward palm up, reach back, peaceful warrior, and back into that warrior two. Straighten that front leg, popping that back hip. So that front hip is going to come in, reaching forward, and then reaching down. Top arm is reaching to the sky. You can place your hand on your shin if you need to. This leg is strong and engaged. Lifting up through your core. Bend that front knee. Bring your hands down. We're going to come back into that lizard lunge. So we're getting into those hips today. A little wiggle room. From here, bring your foot back towards center so your hands are on either side of your foot. And from here, you're just going to straighten that front leg and bring your hips back over that back knee to a half split. flexing your toes. You get a stretch here. If you want to point your toes, if you're a runner, this is great to get rid of shin splints. It's a great stretch for your shin. So you can flex and point, find some movement. Bend into that front knee again. Place your hands on your knees. Go ahead and try and bring your hips a bit more forward. Stretching through that front left psoas. And back into that half split. We're going to find a little movement here. Breathing. One. Place your hands down and untuck those back toes. And if you want to try to do this one-legged vinyasa flow, you can bring that foot up and back. So you're in a plank. Come forward, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. You get to do the other side. So find some stillness here for a moment. Lift your left leg up to the sky. Bend your knee, open your hip to the side. Finding your hip opening a little bit there, pushing through your hands. And close your hip, keep your knee bent, bring it into your chest. Pull it into a strong plank, place your foot down. And go ahead and spiral into that warrior two on the other side. So my hips are now pointed away from you. I'm holding my warrior two nice and strong. Arms are straight out. My pelvis is neutral, so my tailbone is not tucked or untucked. It's just that neutral position. From here, I'm going to bend my elbow. Find some length in my side. Again, you can bring your arm out or down, spiraling that shoulder up to the ceiling. Open back up into warrior two, tip back, peaceful warrior. You can use your back hand on your back leg to help support you. Don't come up out of those legs. Keep them bent. Warrior two. Straighten that front knee, kitty, and you're going to suck that front hip in, reach forward and down into that triangle pose. Right here would be a good place to have a block. Rest your hand on it, making sure that your hips are not sticking out, but that they're in, you're in alignment. Bending that knee, coming down, tucking those back toes, coming back into that lizard pose. So you can keep your toes tucked, untucked. My knee and my shoulder are connected again. Hanging here for a minute. And I'm going to bring my foot to the center of my mat, and I'm going to push back into those half splits. Here, my spine is long, and then I'm just going to fold over. You can stay up high. You can get blocks and hang out. Here, if this is where you're at, just make sure that those hips are right in line with each other. Sometimes that one hip wants to come forward or back and shift, so be strong in your hips, keep them there, and then you can find some flexion and pointing. Right here is where you feel those shin splints. If you wear flip-flops in the summertime, or in Arizona where you're always wearing sandals, you need this. Okay, and then from here I'm going to bend my front knee. Snap, crackle, pop. Place my hands on my knee. Push into that a little bit more. We're back into that half split. Find some movement. So inhale, bend, exhale, fold, inhale, bend, exhale, fold. Last one, bend, and fold forward, straighten that leg, and then come back to that bent knee. Go ahead and rest your hands up on your knee again, stretching that psoas, the front hip area. And then from here, again, you're gonna plant your hands down. You can try and do that vinyasa one-legged. So really push through your hands, really round your back like we do in that cat. Pick your foot up, bring it back so you're in that plank. Hinge forward, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. And then push back, downward facing dog. From here, we're going to walk our feet in to our hands, keeping them as straight as we can. Trying to keep your hands on the mat. Or bending your knees, lifting your hands. Do what feels good in your body. Forward fold. And from here, we're going to go to that chair and sit. So as we're sitting here, go ahead and push yourself back so you're about in the center of your mat. Feet are straight out in front of you. Toes are trying to come towards your face, so you are engaging your legs. You're sitting nice and tall, shoulders are down, back is straight, so you're not rounding in that low back and hunching in that pelvis. So you're sitting nice and tall, crown is lifted, legs are engaged. You see how my heels are kind of lifting up off the mat? That shows that my legs are engaged. And then I'm going to bring my hands, roll my shoulders back, hands down to my side. I could not reach the mat for a long time. I was here. This looks like I'm just sitting. It looks super easy, but everything is working. This is called staff pose. We're gonna sit here for a moment. Core is engaged. And then go ahead and fold forward a bit. So you can fold here, or you can fold as far as you can. Inhale, sit back up. Then we're going to roll ourselves down a bit, bringing your heels back so your fingertips can just kind of graze the back of your heels. We're going to go into a bridge, so make sure that your feet are parallel to each other, toes are pointed straight forward. You want to try and keep your knees in together. You don't want to splay them out. So if you have a block, you want to put it between your knees and squeeze so you get that feeling. Go ahead and do that. But we're going to push through our feet because back bends come from through our legs, not our backs. We're going to go into a bridge pose. So push through your feet, lifting up your pelvis. Once you are here, you can shimmy your shoulders underneath your back, interlacing your fingers, pushing through your feet, keeping your legs engaged. Weight is in your feet, your shoulders, and light pressure on your skull. And you don't want to be crunching your chin into your neck. You want to look up so you're not injuring your throat or your neck or your head. And don't move your head around in this position either. Holding it for 3, 2, 1. Untuck your shoulders. Gently roll down one vertebrae at a time. Go ahead and bring your knees into your chest. You can rock side to side, front to back. Give yourself a little bit of a back massage. We're going to do that again. And if wheel is in your practice, feel free to go into a wheel. My wheel is not very pretty or very strong, so I stick with bridge. So again, feet are parallel, toes are pointed forward, fingers can kind of reach the back of my heels. And on an exhale, and then on an inhale, engage your core, push through your feet, lift up, walk your shoulders underneath you, pushing through your feet, breathing. Three, 2, 1. Walk your shoulders back out and lower down one vertebrae at a time. Good. Go ahead and bring your knees back into your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. Good job. Now we're going to do some stretches here on the floor on our back. So go ahead and keep your right knee into your chest. Reach your left leg out long. On an exhale, you're going to bring your knee across your chest, keeping your shoulders flat on the mat. So you want your shoulders to keep contact on the mat. This is, you're twisting from your torso, from your core. So your hips are now stacked on top of each other. You can reach your hand out to the side and look over to the right. Getting a nice stretch in your low back. Gentle twist. Bring that knee back into your chest. And then go ahead and switch legs. So your left knee is now into your chest. On an exhale, you're going to twist to the right. Open your arm out to the side. Shoulders are still in contact with the mat, and your right hip is in contact with the mat. Bring your knee back into your chest. Go ahead and bring both knees into your chest. And I want you to bring your feet together. Reach down, grab your feet. So this is a reclined butterfly or cobbler's pose. So my feet, soles of my feet are touching. My low back is pressed into the mat. My core is still engaged. And I'm just going to pull my feet a little bit. So this gives you a nice hip opener like in Malasana, a little bit deeper. And from here, we're going to hold onto the outsides of our feet, and we're going to try and bring our knees into our armpits, keeping our low back on the mat, and then pushing your feet, trying to stamp your feet up on the ceiling into a happy baby pose. You can stay here, you can rock around a little bit like a happy baby, you can extend one leg, the other, you can extend both legs. Some people can get both legs and feet touching the ground. Do what feels good for your body. Go ahead and release your feet, bring your legs to the ground. And then we're just going to stretch out. Let your feet fall to the sides, hands down by your side. Into our final resting pose, Shavasana. Feel free to stop the video here and take a Shavasana for as long as you like. When you're ready, start to wiggle your fingers and your toes and find your way back into a seated position with your eyes still closed. Go ahead and find a comfortable seat. Palms down on your knees, sitting nice and tall. Inhale your arms up. Exhale your palms to your forehead. Think positively. Bring your fingertips to your lips. Speak life to others. And bring your palms to your heart. Be kind.